right. Thank you for joining us today on this August 1st, 2021 edition of Lab 52, a Dynasty Football podcast. I'm one of your hosts at Tecmo Weave, joined by my co-host, Weapon X. Weapon X, today is August 1st, but it's also something bigger than that. I'm declaring August 1st Anchor Appreciation Day. What do you think about that?
That's a interesting one. Anchor Appreciation Day. So I guess all the people out there that have been riding with Anchor all year long, just like with anything else, Teacher Appreciation Day, Fan Appreciation Day. I guess Anchor deserves a bone thrown at him once in a while.
Yeah, if you, and I'll talk about Anchor Appreciation Day in a moment, but if you could make an appreciation day, make a holiday, you wave your wand, you sign with your pen. What holiday would you make?
Yeah, you asked me this a few minutes ago. I was trying to think of some. There's so many corny ones out there, and I'm gonna think of one that I'm gonna say one I know for sure is not a national holiday, and I'm just gonna say, we're a fantasy football show. Why not have a fantasy football relaxation day? As difficult as it is all year to manage your rosters, it could be stressful sometimes. We deserve a day off. We deserve a day off, man. Let's get a national fantasy football relaxation day. I think we need to get this movement going. Have a day off to just calm down and just relax, man. I think we need that in the middle of the season.
Well, that's what it will be then here on Lab 52. I also want to say maybe today is National Commissioner Appreciation Day. If you're a commissioner, pat yourself on the back. Tell other commissioners how much you appreciate them out there, because it's National Commissioner Appreciation Day. But I think the best way to show anyone appreciation, really, and this is a story, it's a real story, is to send them emails. I mean, when people send you emails, does that make you feel appreciated?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I guess what the context of it all depends what it is. Some of the emails are, "Hey, your bill is due." I'm not feeling very appreciated with that email, but I guess a personal email, they take the time to send it. I guess once in a while I feel appreciated with that.
Yeah, it really depends on how personalized it gets.
Yeah.
Where in my part of the country, the governor just declared it now. What was it? Staff Appreciation Day, and so that's what I got for appreciation from me. I think I got 2 or 3 emails that didn't address me by name. Just kind of, a general, we appreciate the work that you all do. So I don't know if that's, you really think that's the governor's intent when he signed that into law? Like, I'm gonna create Staff Appreciation Day, so Tecmo gets like an extra 3 emails. and that will boost his morale, his productivity, all of that. No, so I would say that didn't go as planned. That's what I wrote here. Maybe the intent by the governor didn't go as planned, and that's going to tie us back into fantasy. I was thinking of, and this might just be another way to say bad trades you've done, but players you've just kind of so carelessly given away, like you didn't think anything of them, and then they go on to have, value over the course of multiple years. 2 came to mind for me. One was Chris Carson. I remember I picked him up off the waiver wire, didn't think much of him. He was like 1 pick away from being Mr. Irrelevant. And so I just threw him in some trade a few years ago, and here he is. He's still the starter for the Seahawks. Yeah, that didn't go as planned. And I looked up one, I stumbled upon this. I had George Kittle in 2017, and I traded George Kittle and a 2nd-round pick for Jordan Reed. That did not, that was in a standard league. Yeah. That didn't go as planned. Do you have any trades when you think about it? You're like, man, I shouldn't have just let that guy go, but I just let him slip away.
Yeah, I have one that's it's not necessarily a player that just out of nowhere that just started doing great. I have one that personally affected me big time at the end of the year. I traded this is when Todd Gurley was doing his thing, elite running back. I felt like I could get really good value in the trade, and I think I did. I believe I got the number 5 pick in the draft that year, which turned out to be Dalvin Cook, and I believe also Jordan Howard. So, I mean, the return was good. But unfortunately, what happened is the next 2 years, Gurley just ended up terrorizing my team. I faced Todd Gurley in the championship, and he had just ridiculously historic week that week. So it's just like, and then I think that same year was when Dalvin Cook was out for the season. So stuff like that. I mean, it's not like an out of nowhere type player, but it was a guy that was already ascending. And I trade him, and it's like, man, it came back to really bite me. But I've had a couple. I think Allen Robinson, when he had his breakout year, not many people were completely sold on it yet. But so I said, you know what, let me see what kind of value I can get for him. And I regret that because the return, I think the return I got for him, I might have got Will Fuller and a couple draft picks. It wasn't anything that really makes me happy now because Allen Robinson obviously right now is a mainstay in fantasy rosters. So I just feel like that was a tough one for me because I think instead of just holding, it wasn't after his breakout year. It was when he got injured. That's when I sold him. I should have just bet on the talent, bet on him coming back from the injury because a lot of people were really down on him at the time. After his breakout year, he was probably maybe top 7 or 8 dynasty pick at the time. But then his injury really dropped his value big time. And I went along with that. And, yeah, that one burned me because, yeah, Allen Robinson's – he's about as steady as it gets. And not having him on that team is frustrating. Now, Will Fuller isn't anyone to really be excited about on your team.
Well, the tides can shift pretty quickly. Gurley,
Yeah.
he was the main show in town. Now maybe you finally won that trade. Now that Gurley is nothing and Dalvin Cook is ripping it up. You eventually won the trade a number of years later, but I know what you mean. It's about the damage it does at the time. Another guy that did some damage to his career, and it seems like maybe it's the end of the road for the NFL version of Kelvin Benjamin. He failed a conditioning test this week. He was going to be a tight end for the Giants, and I guess he just put on too much weight. He failed his conditioning test, but so did Jalen Reagor and Dallas Goedert. So I don't know if that means anything, but you don't want to be showing up to camp failing the conditioning test. But Kelvin Benjamin, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that transition. Do you think that's likely? Can we just teach wide receivers to play tight end and it'll all be good? They'll all be Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, athletic at the position. Is it that easy? I can't say that I would agree that it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's as easy as that. There's a reason tight ends, are one of the toughest positions to transition. Because if you think about it, tight ends normally don't break out right away. It takes them a few years. Mm-hmm. And with a tight end position, you also have to be in line. You have to be blocking. You have to be helping in the running game. Receivers block, but most of their blockings are against cornerbacks. So you got tight ends blocking against big dudes in the middle, linebackers. That's a big transition. I don't think you could just say a receiver could just go in there and play tight end. It's a much different game. It's so much more physical. The physicality of the tight end position, that can wear on you. And you can't just have a guy going from the outside and the inside and expect it to be an easy transition. I think that's just like we look at Tim Tebow going from quarterback to tight end. You look at guys like that. I mean, yes, he's a big guy, but just because he was athletic as a quarterback doesn't mean you're going to transition to the tight end position. It's a completely different position. And it's similar to guys on offensive line when you go from right tackle to left tackle or left tackle to guard. It's the line, but it's still a different type of feel. You have to block different assignments. Everything is different on the offensive line. So I think when you just say, put a guy here, put a guy there, it's not that simple. It's they're athletic players, but it's a lot more to it than just adding them to a spot.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see this year how it goes. Tebow, is he going to make the roster or not? I'm still curious because I feel like if he does, they're going to use him. They almost, but we'll have to wait and see. Go ahead.
Speaking of tight ends, receivers going to tight end. One of my friends is a big 49ers fan. He said Jordan Matthews, his transition to tight end. He asked me, he said, what do you think? You think he's got a chance to make the squad? Or I said, honestly, I think he's got a better chance to make the squad than Tim Tebow does because Jordan Matthews is already, he's already shown he can catch the football in the NFL. And an interesting fact is Jordan Matthews was there with Trey Lance during his pro day. So they got a little bit of chemistry there going. So who knows? Jordan Matthews still not – I mean, he's in the middle of his career. He's got a chance. I think if there's one guy that could make it happen, he's not going to make a big impact because you got George Kittle there. But hey, you're learning from one of the best tight ends in the league, and you got a young quarterback that you're already familiar with. So I think that would be interesting to see how that plays out.
I agree. I mean, can he make it as a backup tight end in the NFL? Well, yeah. He can have the skills to be a backup.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not going to eclipse George Kittle. I want to talk about Detroit for a minute here. I have a whole bunch of Detroit news, just kind of all circling in the same area in my notebook here. Today I saw Theo Riddick retired, and while he retired as a Raider, I'll always remember Theo Riddick as a Detroit Lion. Do you have any memories of fantasy of Theo Riddick on your fantasy team?
Yeah, he had some weeks there where he was a pretty valuable player. Plug into your flex, especially PPR formats. He was a really good pass catcher. I think a lot of people have some good fond memories of Theo Riddick out there. I don't think we can forget that he made some things happen out there.
Yeah. The another guy that's in Detroit here. They have a couple guys there. One has something positive to say about the other. TJ Hawkinson said Goff is a great dude. And I want to ask you a question here before we cut to break. And this is it's somewhat related to Detroit. In a league I'm in, you're aware of that league, the Blue Ribbon League.
Yeah.
Most likely I'm going to have the 1-1 in next year's draft. I already have had a person come to me trying to trade for it. It's no secret that it's going to be the 1-1. So my question to you is, do you trade that? And if you trade it, what do you trade it for when your team is down to the studs? And what I mean by that is the bare bones.
Yeah.
The bare bones, not the stud players, but studs of a house. You got to build up some talent. You got to get some youth infused in the team, and you do have that number 1 pick. What would you trade it for? I'll let you take it from there. But one of the pieces I had was TJ Hawkinson. I like him. If you don't have a tight end and you're not going to be picking up Kelsey, you're not going to be picking up Kittle, Hawkinson feels to me like a good tight end 3 out of the top 12.
Yeah, like when you got the number 1 pick, and like you said, in your situation, you believe it'll be the number 1 pick, and your roster is devoid of much talent at the moment. But yeah, that number 1 pick right now, in my opinion, what I would do, I would not trade it in season. That pick will continue to rise in value in the offseason. That's going to be your best time. Trading that pick during the offseason when rookie talk is happening. You got the combine going on. You're going to get so many more offers for that pick because people are just more excited around that time when it comes to rookie picks. And you, in your position, you need talent on your team. The number 1 pick obviously is going to net you a talented player. But if you can get multiple first and a player or 2 for that pick, just to add talent to your team, guys that you can plug into your lineup, I like having the number 1 pick in that situation. Your situation, say, a guy comes at you and offers you maybe a mid-first and a late-first and then a player as well. See, that's how you build value to your team. But I personally think when you have the number 1 pick at this time of the year, when you believe you do, no one has it yet, but when you believe you may have possible first pick in the draft next year, you're going to have, I think you wait for it to play out, and then that value will continue to get higher and higher. And then now you're looking at offers that are going to be way, way more, lucrative than you would now. So I think waiting in this situation when you're just a rebuilding team is the best way to go.
Okay. I mean, that's being rational. That's just saying I'm going to hang on to it. There has to be a point though where the deal is good enough, right?
Oh well, yeah. If you're
it's good.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's one Najee Harris, you got one Najee Harris, or you could kind of come out of a deal with a late first, TJ Hawkinson, Deebo Samuel, maybe another high second round pick in a rookie draft this year. Where you come away with a mixture of players. Would you do it?
I mean, if someone's offering you Najee Harris and then more for that pick, I mean, I don't know who would do that. Najee Harris.
No. What I meant to say by that is, imagine I were to have the number 1 pick this year, but I don't. It's for next year. I'm just saying, okay. Like, what would a rebuilding team rather have? One Najee Harris, you just have one
Okay.
of him on your team, or three guys that are, a couple rookies, one guy that's a wide receiver too, a guy like Hawkinson, a later first. At a certain point, the value has to be good enough to take it. It's just a question of where.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
Sue, can you see that, or are you going to stick to you're better off just waiting the deal? If that's the deal now, it may be better later on.
Yeah, that makes sense now. I understand. At first, I thought you were still talking about next year's pick, but yeah,
Oh, sure.
now that Najee Harris is the player, you have the guy. The pick's already made. You have him. I think you could explore trades now more because you have players now to talk about, not just picks or just a number in the draft. You have the players. You know what they are. So yeah, if someone's giving you an overwhelming offer for Najee Harris right now, I mean, yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's always a point where a trade makes sense. It always, no matter when it is in the year. If a trade is going to overwhelm you right now, whether it's in August or September, it doesn't matter. Like if you're getting an offer now that you believe is going to make your team better long term and maybe even in the short term, that's something you got to look at. But yeah, Najee Harris, his value, who knows? What if he has a bust season this year? His value is not going to be what it is now. So if you get an overwhelming offer for Najee Harris right now at this moment, you got to do it. You got to look into it, and you definitely got to do it because like I said, you don't even know for sure what his season looks like. If he ends up being an awesome player this year, that's great. You know what I mean? But you're still in a situation where if he doesn't have a really good season, now you're not really sure what you're looking at next year. I believe he's going to have a solid season. I am very excited to see him play this year, but everything's up for grabs, especially when you're rebuilding. You have to find ways to get better. One player isn't going to take you all the way. You got to have a core of players, and then that's how you get your core, by building off players like that.
And I think that's where I'm coming from with my team. I just need to get talent on the team. Having one elite running back isn't going to get me to where I need to be.
Exactly.
I got to start filling out the roster better. But hey, why don't we cut to break? Have you recorded the new Anchor ad, or do you have an idea what's going to be coming up for the month of August?
Right now, at the moment, no. Still thinking about it. I haven't recorded yet, but yeah, there'll be something coming.
Oh, it'll be exciting. Well, hey, we'll cut to the old ad. We'll come back. We can talk about Nick Chubb. We can talk about Carson Wentz. Out indefinitely. They have no idea when he's coming back. It could be 5 years. It could be, a couple of hours. They don't know. It's just indefinite.
We'll come back. I have some stuff to say about that one, as you can imagine.
I bet. Well, hey, we'll cut to the ad and we'll come back and we'll talk about those topics. Okay, thank you for joining us for the second part of this August 1st National Anchor Appreciation Day episode of Lab 52, a Dynasty Football podcast. Carson Wentz, he's already hurt his foot, I guess. And they say he's out indefinitely. The news today said he just wants to rest and relax. He just wants to kick back, put his foot up, listen to some Lab 52 podcasts. Then he'll get better and he'll play. And if that doesn't work, then it's still going to be surgery. But they were saying it does look like even with the surgery, he'd still probably be ready for week 1. What are you hearing? I mean, it's not a good way to start your career in Indy.
Yeah, not a good way. When I saw that, I was like, man. And of course, as always, everyone knows I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and obviously Wentz was a big part of our plans, and it didn't go according to plan with Wentz, but and I absolutely want to see him succeed. I mean, whether he's on a different team or not, I've always, was a big fan of Carson Wentz, and hopefully he does well. Hopefully he gets healthy. And for the Eagles, they need him to play 75% of the snaps to get for that pick to turn into a first rounder. So yeah, there's a lot on the line with that as well. But yeah, when I saw the news, I was like, man, my first thought, and I'm not at training camp. I'm not there. I don't know what happens, but how does a player get hurt when they're wearing a red non-contact jersey? I mean, yeah, anything can happen. Maybe he stepped on the third string quarterback's water bottle or something. I don't know. Anything could have happened, but it's just Carson Wentz is, unfortunately, I think he's more unlucky than injury prone. He's had some very unlucky things happen in his career. And it's just like I'm looking at this right now, and to me, it's just amazing. Not in a good way. It's amazing in a very bad way to see that a guy like Carson Wentz, if you think about it, 3-4 years ago, Carson Wentz he was one of those guys in Dynasty top three. Like you said, a lot of things can change really quick. And for his career, look at him right here at QB 21. Man, that's tough. And the Colts, they have a lot on the line right now, riding on Carson Wentz. So hopefully he could be ready for Week 1. If those reports are accurate, that would be a great thing. But yeah, what I'm hearing, same as you're hearing, it's just indefinitely, and they're just evaluating. They're going to reevaluate and just see how he does. But good thing if there is a time for something like this to happen, it's now. So hopefully surgery isn't something that needs to happen. And if it is, it's just a minor cleanup surgery. But I don't know. I don't even know if anyone really knows exactly what the injury is. But I'm hoping for the best for him. And, just for fantasy football, I want to see him out there playing.
Oh, absolutely. But if that doesn't come to pass, don't worry. This guy said it's been a whirlwind. That's right. Brett Hundley. They signed Brett Hundley. It's nothing to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. They got Brett Hundley on the case. But yeah, that's who's looking at the backup job right now.
Yeah. Oh man. If you got any stock in Colts players right now, and if you see Hundley out there on the field, that ain't looking good. That's not.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind for him though. That's what he said. This next headline is funny. It got the teenager and the adult in me laughing. Chubb got extended for a 3-year, $36.6 million deal. It's like that's the first thing I saw, and I was like, oh, haha. But it's true. Nick Chubb got his contract extended, and a guy like Nick Chubb, okay, he's in the prime of his career. Is that the type of player that you try to trade for eventually? Do you try to build up a lot of assets and then try to trade for someone like that? Or are you the type of person that maybe you want your players to turn into a Nick Chubb, and if they do, then you're going to keep them? When I think about a player of his value, he's difficult to acquire. Because you're going to have to give up a lot to get him. And most of the teams that seem to have Nick Chubb, at least in my experience, they're contending teams. They didn't land Nick Chubb by accident.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, congratulations for him. That's a great thing for him. He is, I would say, just as a pure runner, I don't think you're going to find more than maybe 2 runners maybe that are better. I would say Dalvin Cook and Henry might be right up there with him. And he's got an argument to be considered as the best pure running back in the league. He's something else, man. And unfortunately, he's not obviously heavily used in the passing game, or else he'd be a Christian McCaffrey type player at this point. But 5.2 yards a carry for his career, and it's a touchdown maker. Almost 12 touchdowns last year, and the previous years before that 8 and 8. So he's going to be in the end zone quite often. But I think when you're talking about him and his trade value, like you said, he's very, very tough to acquire, because when you have Nick Chubb, I don't have Nick Chubb on any of my teams, but I know if I had him, I would feel so secure having him on my team, because the workload in the running game's there, his production will be there, and the Browns are an ascending football team right now. They're a team that a lot of people are excited to watch. He takes care of the football. You don't see him fumbling very often. There's very, very little things on his resume that worry you. And last year was his first year he actually missed any games in the NFL. So I'm not concerned about his injuries as well. I know I've heard people say, well, he misses games. No, not really. He missed 4 games last year. That was it. Only games he's missed in his career. And his workload, imagine if he had a Derrick Henry level workload. I mean, the numbers he would put up, because he 5.6 yards a carry last year on 190 carries. He missed 4 games, but if you put him in the 300 carry range and 350 carry range, which is 17-game season, there is no question he is capable of that, and he can handle a load. He's just a unbelievable runner. He can get you the 3 to 4 yards, 5 yards in between tackles, but he can also bust open the big runs as well, which is why he is one of the most fun players to watch. If I had him in Dynasty, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do it. Obviously, if you get a good offer, it's something to consider. 25 years old right now, but Yeah, that's a guy that I think he merits multiple first round picks and a player, just because you have a guy like him, and when you have a guy like him, you know what you're getting week to week, and that's very valuable just to have that in your lineup. Just so many players in fantasy that you're just uncertain about every week, and just having that on your mind is just stressful enough. You have no stress with Nick Chubb on your lineup. He's just going to go out there and just do what he does every week, and the Browns are one of the most heaviest running football teams in the league, and that's a great asset to have on your team.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, of course the Browns run a lot, but what does that mean for Baker's value? You know, Baker was the talk of the town a couple years ago. Maybe didn't live up to expectations, but last year he definitely showed some maturity in his game. He dropped his interceptions, and now maybe with an additional game, or they're going to be keying in on the run even more. Does this open the door for Baker Mayfield to take the next step?
Sure, I don't see why not. I think when you think about the Browns, we can't always assume that they're just going to become the team that they are. If they start passing the ball more, Baker Mayfield, yes, he hasn't been elite yet, but I think when you look at his season last year, 95.9 QB rating, that's a pretty solid season. And with Baker Mayfield 26 touchdowns, if they just start throwing the ball a little more, the talent's there, the receivers are there. He's got good weapons around him. Kareem Hunt's a good running back out of the backfield to use him there. But it's tough with the Browns. It's working. What they're doing is working. Running the ball hard, running the ball all game, and their defense is obviously strong as well. What they're doing is working, but we can't just assume that will continue. I think when you're evaluating the running backs in the Browns, you expect them to be a heavy running team, but you can't assume that it will be like that every season,
year.
every year. Anything could change. It's the NFL. Year to year, so many things change. And that's why I think Baker Mayfield will be an interesting player this year. Obviously a late round target, and maybe he's probably not even draftable in redraft leagues, but it's someone to keep an eye on and see how they use their running backs and see how they use the passing game early on.
I would agree. I'd agree. I think there's money to be made at this point. If you're acquiring Baker Mayfield at this point in time, he's going to outperform expectations. This will be his third or fourth year in the league. It's a good arc to his career that we could see him take that next step. But here's a guy that's taken a step back in time. It's going back in time with his good friend Aaron Rodgers. Randall Cobb, he's back in Green Bay. And I'm like, man, it's just like 2015. Those guys are going to be hooking up on the field. It's going to be, party time, lots of touchdowns. I don't know. But this week I was able to acquire Randall Cobb in, I think, like 3 of 4 leagues I'm in with very little competition. And these include a full PPR league, a half-point PPR league, and a standard league. What are your thoughts about Randall Cobb going back to Green Bay? I mean, it is a small price for Green Bay to pay.
Yeah, it's a small price for Green Bay to pay. And it's also a small price for, dynasty owners to pay. He's not, he's most likely free.
He's free.
He's free most likely, or you might just get him for, obviously you're not going to get him for third or fourth rounder now just because he's on Green Bay. But yeah, most likely he was free. He was available on your waiver wire. But to me, it's very interesting. Obviously, we know Aaron Rodgers wanted Randall Cobb there, and I'm sure the feeling is mutual. I see here it's Randall Cobb pretty much told everyone how he felt about his Houston situation. He said, "I can breathe again. I've seen the other side." I read that. That's a brutal assessment right there of your situation. But he's not wrong though. Obviously, he's not wrong. But I really think it's going to be fun to watch. I think there's no reason why he can't slot in as the number 2 receiver on Green Bay. Nobody. Yeah, go ahead.
If that's the case, if he's going to be the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay, we assume Robert Tonyan, he gives up a few targets, he gives up a few touchdowns, and that those will go to Cobb. And if Aaron Rodgers, if this is truly the last dance, you don't think he's just going to be peppering his friends with targets, trying to make them look good? I don't know. It felt reckless that I was so easily able to obtain Randall Cobb. In any sort of PPR format, no, not standard. We're not expecting him to be a touchdown monster, but could he get 70 to 80 catches?
Yeah,
12 yards a catch.
that's yeah.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
I honestly think when you got a guy like Randall Cobb, it's not like you're trading for a young guy that hasn't really emerged yet. Cobb has already played in his NFL a long time. His chemistry's there. You don't have to worry about that actually happening. The chemistry's been there already. You don't have to wait for that to happen. So I would not be surprised if, middle of the season, we're talking about Randall Cobb as a mainstay, wide receiver 3 type player in your lineup because of all the things you said, everything you said about it. If he's getting those targets and 70, 80 catches possibly and getting, 5 to 6, maybe 7 touchdowns, that's a wide receiver 3 in any league, and he's going to
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, the fact that you got him for free, you got to be excited about that because Randall Cobb with Green Bay, his value I don't think there's any player this offseason that has gone as low as it possibly could to where he's at now. Because when you're playing in Houston as whatever his role was going to be there with whatever quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, Tyrod Taylor.
Junior.
Yeah, Junior.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, all jokes aside, honestly, yeah, he's correct. He's seen the worst you could see in the NFL, and now he's in a great situation. And yeah, I think he's going to be motivated. Like you said, the last dance, if they're going to roll with that theme, they're going to be motivated to try to get it done. One more year in Green Bay. I think it'll be an interesting player, and getting him for free. That's anyone out there in Dynasty, if you got Randall Cobb still sitting on your waiver wire, pick him up for free. There's no reason why you shouldn't. It's an easy pick, and it's a wide receiver 3 potential in your lineup.
100%. Not advocating to start the guy, but you can do a heck of a lot worse than Randall Cobb as a flyer on a bye week for somebody or another. Certainly in any PPR format. Well, that brings us to a close on Anchor Appreciation Day. It's been fun again, Weapon X. We're going to be getting into the actual preseason here. My blood pressure goes up a little bit at this time of year because you start getting the news articles that say, this person tweaked. They tweaked something. They're sitting out. Oh, somebody's got a back problem, and then sorry, they're back playing. It's this roller coaster of news, and everybody's trying to make something out of nothing. But we'll start to see some of the players play, other than Darrell Henderson, where he's not going to play in the offseason, I guess. And that's okay. Good for you if you have Darrell Henderson. You don't have to worry about him getting hurt in a meaningless game. But hey, we may cover some of that next week. I'll let you close this out, and I'll talk with you then.
Yeah, like Tecmo said, preseason just around the corner, and we'll get to see the players out there we've been talking about all offseason, see them go out there and play. And like you said, Darrell Henderson not playing, and that's actually not a bad thing. I would not mind all my players on my roster not going out there in preseason. It would not upset me at all if I didn't see them till September, because it's just so many things that happen in preseason. But it's exciting that we're going to see football, man, and it seems like a long time coming. But hey, every time this time of the year comes, it's really, really just makes you reflect on how fun football is and how important it is to just appreciate when you got football out there. It's a fun sport, and we love talking about it, and I'm just so excited for it to be back, man. All right, yeah, thanks again, and hey, everyone take care and have a great week.